35 short days away from Election Day 2006. So how will the discovery of resigned Congressman Mark Foley's emails and instant messages to teenage pages reshape the election landscape? Joining us now, the president of Citizens United, David Bossie, and Democratic strategist Laura Schwartz. David, you sent out a press release yesterday. In your press release, you say, quote, Speaker Hastert had knowledge of Congressman Foley's inappropriate behavior and chose to protect a potential pedophile and a powerful colleague over a congressional page. You have zero evidence, David, zero, to back up that statement. You jumped the gun, and I think tonight you owe Speaker Hastert an apology. He denies knowing anything about this stuff.
Well, part of the problem here is, Sean, that Speaker Hastert and folks like yourself want to talk about those types of issues as opposed to the important ones, which is Speaker Hastert's failure of leadership. And let's talk about
David,
that.
No. Stop with the talking point. I don't want to talk about I'm talking about what you wrote. Wait a minute. You sent out a press release saying he had knowledge of something. There's no evidence to back up that claim. He denies it fully. And where did you get, how do you get off writing something like that?
First of all, Sean, you well know that Speaker Hastert knew about this over a year ago.
No, he didn't. He knew about emails. That's it. Nothing sexually explicit.
I didn't say. I'm sorry, Sean. You just read the press release. It doesn't say anything about emails or sexually explicit material.
He had knowledge of his inappropriate behavior.
Listen to me. What you're jumping the gun here. Congressman Hastert could have solved this problem. We wouldn't be talking about it 5 weeks before an election if he had dealt with this a year ago.
Explain to me a year ago.
Congressman Boehner, it is important. Congressman Boehner said, I found out about it. I went to Speaker Hastert. He told me I got it.
Well,
I am dealing with that.
You obviously didn't spend time. I spent time. I actually took the time to investigate it rather than read the New York Times. And I spoke to Speaker Hastert. Wait a minute, David.
You did more investigation than Speaker Hastert did.
David, you accused him of protecting a potential pedophile that had sex with a page, and I actually had an opportunity to speak to him. He didn't see the emails. He didn't know about the request for a picture.
He knew what they said,
wait a minute.
Sean.
He didn't know any of this. He never knew anything about the instant messages that were sexually explicit.
And you know why he didn't know about the instant messages, Sean?
But you accused him of knowing all of that.
He didn't conduct an investigation. Sean, he didn't conduct an investigation. He didn't do one thing, Sean.
David,
you want to get into it? He didn't do one thing to lift a finger to protect these people.
David, by the way, you're not the only conservative, and I'll get to Lauren here in a second, but you're not the only conservative. Tony Perkins of the Family Research Council, Richard Vigory, Paul Weyrich are all on your page here.
Michael Reagan, Tony Blankley.
Let me get to Lauren
there's a list of people.
Our other guest. I'm not going to call for his resignation. Let the Republicans deal with that. I don't think that Democrats should not even get in that fray.
I agree.
Let them battle it out.
They're chasing each other's tails, passing the buck between Boehner and
We do know that
Hastert
initially denied knowing anything until last week, and then he acknowledged he knew last fall. Do you trust someone like that to run an investigation?
Yeah, no, nor do I trust Boehner, who said that he had talked to Hastert about it, then had to call the Washington Post back Friday and say, wait, no, I don't know if I did. And then this morning say that I talked to Hastert, he's a supervisor, it was his thing to deal with, and then he had to quick write a letter to the Washington Times today.
The other issue is these emails, which we know are different than the instant messages, but there was enough suggestivity in those emails when the kid himself writes on it, sick, how many times?
12 times.
12 times he wrote the word sick.
The Republicans coined it as overly friendly. The victim said 12 times. There's a big difference here.
So my question is, why didn't Denny Hastert ask what's in those emails? He claims he didn't know what was in them, didn't know about instant messages, because he didn't ask any questions. There was no curiosity to ask anything more than, okay, you take care of it, and then he heard it was handled, but he didn't ask himself any specific information.
Exactly, and you know how it was handled is Representative Reynolds, in fact, loaned his chief of staff over to Foley's office to help him through this time when they found out about the emails. No, the Republicans are going to call for this. Now, I do think it's smart strategy, though. They need a grand gesture at this moment, and Hastert stepping down from his leadership position might be part of that strategy.
David, also, May 10th, Tom Reynolds' Political Action Committee donates $5,000 to Foley's campaign. July 27th, Foley writes a $100,000 check to the National Republican Campaign Committee, which Reynolds chairs. Was this an attempt to keep the leadership quiet?
No, look, I don't buy into all the politics of this case. What I do know is Speaker Hastert didn't do anything. Speaker Hastert found out about this issue, Speaker Hastert passed the buck, and Speaker Hastert didn't go to Congressman Foley and say, hey, we just learned about these emails. We didn't learn about these emails. Hold on. We didn't learn about these emails. We want to see your hard drive. That he would have resigned
but what
that
about the money
minute
trail here?
if he had conducted 1 ounce of an investigation.
to the NRCC, which Reynolds said. Why?
Look, members who are in leadership positions, members who are incumbents, on both sides of the aisle, donate money to the party all the time, Alan. That's nothing. That's absolutely nothing.
All right, I just say, you know, there was nothing sexually explicit in the email. Nothing. And before you accuse somebody of
it's a red flag. It's a predator.
A pedophile,
the guy was a predator. We know he was a predator.
What an
outrage. Send me a photograph.
You take the picture for them to send it out?
Send me a picture of yourself. What do you look like in jogging
Speaker
pants?
Hastert told me he didn't see that.
Ask any questions.
You know what? Speaker Hastert
Justice
didn't
Department
even
has to
ask a single
Mark
question.
coming up on the shootings that took place in Lancaster. Coming up next, straight ahead.